Red Dead Redemption 2. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. America 1899. The end of the Wild West era has begun as lawmen hunt down the last remaining outlaw gangs. Those who will not surrender or succumb are killed. After a robbery goes badly wrong in the western town of Blackwater, Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlinde gang are forced to flee. With federal agents and the best bounty hunters in the nation massing on their heels, the gang must rob, steal and fight their way across the rugged heartland of America in order to survive. As deepening internal divisions threaten to tear the gang apart, Arthur must make a choice between his own ideals and the loyalty of the gang who raised him.
Guys, I've waited 7 years for this, and it's been well worth the wait. I mean, just look at it. Is there a more beautiful game out there on the console? It's just gorgeous. I mean, I'm constantly seeing places that are just so damn breathtaking. It's just incredible, jaw-dropping. Your jaw will wobble all the way through this game. It's just insane. The sound is good as well. I mean, the echo of the bullets in the mountains, you know, it's just the thunder, the lightning, it's just fucking great. The noise of the animals, just little things like squeaks here and there of things like doors and floorboards and that. It's just, the attention to detail is just out of this world for this game, guys. It's just phenomenal. I mean, you can see why it took so long to make this game. They have just spent so much time making sure everything is just right, and as far as graphics and sound. The voiceovers is great as well. There's a couple that aren't brilliant, but most of them are really, really top draw, premium quality stuff, and the music's fantastic as well. I love the music. It all sets the scene for a fantastic experience in the Wild West, and well, watching the Wild West leave its wildness and start to become more modern, because that's kind of what happens towards the end of the game. Let's talk about the story. There'll be no spoilers here, guys. So this is 12 years before Red Dead Redemption, so you kind of know that certain characters are going to survive because they're in Red Dead Redemption. You know who's probably going to die as well. And it is a fantastic story, I've got to say. It's really got me captivated. It goes on a little bit in the middle. There's a few bits where it's like, oh yeah, well that was unnecessary, that's a bit padding there. But generally speaking, there's branches of the story, and you can see characters changing slightly, and you're going, oh yeah, he's starting to change, he's starting to get like that, she's starting to get like that. You know, it's all kind of riveting stuff to watch, and it's quite emotional at times as well when you're killing certain people accidentally, in my case, and you have to you see the consequences of stuff like that. It's just so damn well done. It's just so well done. It really, really is. But let's get on to the main event, which is the actual gameplay. Sadly, the control aspect of this game isn't as good as I hoped, and I think the reason for that is that Rockstar have had this sort of vision of how they want the character to be controlled, but they've been really limited by how shite controllers are. And let's be honest here, guys, controllers need a really big update. They've never really been updated for years. I mean, you'd get way more buttons on them, and this game needs way more buttons. The amount of clunkiness that you've got in this control system just so you can do what you want to do is ridiculous. I mean, you come out, you're in the middle of a gunfight, and you have to press like hold down left bumper, then press right bumper, then the right thumbstick to scroll around the wheel, then release the left bumper, just to change fucking weapons, or just to administer some health tonic because you're getting killed. And sometimes it just doesn't do anything at all. It just says, oh, do that all again, because what were you trying to do there? It just didn't work, you know. And it's just kind of so fucking frustrating, because you're in the middle of this immersive battle and you suddenly need to pull your shotgun out or something, and it's just fucking awful. I mean, I'm so used to on a keyboard and mouse, just everything bound to a key, you know. I want to switch weapons, press a button, bang. You know, the only good thing about the controller is the triggers, because in Red Dead Redemption 2 you can feather the hammer on your gun by just quickly spamming the right trigger. Normally you pull your left trigger and that pulls your gun out and aims it, and then the right trigger fires your gun. Well, when you release the right trigger, it fires the gun. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, if you just spam the right trigger, he pulls the gun out and he'll just feather that hammer and just unload a whole load of slugs into somebody. And that is so damn satisfying Using a mouse and keyboard would not be anywhere near as good because, you know, spamming a mouse is just not the same as pulling a trigger. So I love that about the controller in this. But that's about it. I mean, the controls are clunky despite the limitations of a controller. They're clunky because of the way the game is. I mean, sometimes trying to pick stuff up is just a nightmare. Trying to loot a cupboard can be cumbersome, and it's clunky. There's no other way of saying it. The controls are just not brilliant in this game. Everything else is, though. So let's talk about the great stuff in the game. The way the world just opens up for you and you come into these different situations. You have like random events that happen around the world like you did in the first one, although there's not as many, which is better because it makes the world feel a bit more believable. There was just a few too many in the first one, I thought. In this one, the a lot fewer and far between, which is really, really good as well. And there's no fast travel for ages in the game. I mean, I just kind of unlocked fast travel just to show you in the video. I'm never going to use it. I just literally unlocked it just to show you. But why would you want to fast travel in a game like this? I'm so immersed in the character and in the world and in my horse. Your horse just doesn't level up with you, but it gets better as you ride it and you do more stuff, and you can unlock abilities on your horse, like the ability to stop fast and to slide left and slide right and stuff like that, and you get attached to your horse. I don't want to sell it. There's better horses out there, but I just don't want to sell my horse. I didn't even like the look of it when I got it, but it's my horse now. I've grown attached to that thing, and if it dies, it dies. That's it. It's dead for good. You've got to look after your horse. You've got to groom it as well. As you're riding around, it gets mucky, and you have to get your grooming brush and groom the muck off it, and that helps it when you're riding because its stamina doesn't drain as fast. Same with the weapons. You can clean your weapons in this game, and if you don't clean the weapons, they get wear and tear and rust, and they aren't as potent in battle. So you have to buy some gun oil, or you can acquire it just by looting, and you have to go into your weapons and manually clean each weapon. I love that. I love that attention to detail, the immersion. And I think Rockstar, what they've tried with Red Dead 2 is they've gone a bit down the Kingdom Come Deliverance path with more RPG immersion in it, because it is way more immersive than the first one. That's not to say the first one wasn't immersive. The first game was very immersive. I loved it. I loved the whole open world sandboxy feel that the first one had, and you get that in this game as well. But this one just has that more attention to detail to make you feel like you are living the life of Arthur, and it's them little things that just make this game better than the first one. As for the weapons, well, you get pretty much the kind of weapons that you had in the first one, which is, you know, weapons of that era. You've got different types of pistol, different types of revolver, different types of shotgun, sawn-off, pump action. You've got carbine rifles, you've got bolt action rifles, because this is just after the Civil War, about 30 years after the Civil War, so you've got all them kind of weapons from the Civil War. You can upgrade your weapons. You've got the Springfield, which you put scopes on. There's also another sniper rifle that you can get with a long scope on it, which is really good for hunting. You can even personalize your weapons to make them feel more your gun. Just the appearance of them, there's loads of different, they're not so much skins, I guess they are, like different varnishes that you can put on them, just to make them, give them that little personal touch. It all adds to the immersion of being with this gang, and the gang is being hunted all the time, and so you have to have a hideout. You have multiple hideouts as you go through the game, and you have to contribute to that little community that your gang is by doing chores, or giving money to the gang, or giving pelts if you go hunting. I'll talk about hunting in a second, or just upgrading. There's a ledger that where you can upgrade. I've upgraded pretty much everything now, but upgrading stuff was quite fun as you're going through the game, because each thing gives you different perks where you can get first aid, you can get ammo and things like that. As you're going out for the day, you get some nice stew, which looks so damn tasty. Makes you hungry IRL just looking at it. But you know, you're waking up and you have your stew, you get a bit of ammo, then you head off out to do what you're going to do. If you've got stuff to do yourself, go and do it. Or if you want to do one of the missions, just go and see and speak to somebody in your camp. But it's just that giving you that freedom to do that is just so damn good. I mean, you can just go off hunting for days if you want and come back, and the hunting is much improved on the first one. The hunting in this, you need to use your binoculars, and you need to study the actual wildlife that you're going to hunt, because it actually tells you whether its pelt is good or what level it is. It might be a poor pelt, it might be pristine pelt, and if you're going to use it for crafting, which, let's be honest, that's probably what you're going to do it for, you need that pristine pelt. And so it'll tell you what weapon you should use to take that out as well. It might require a high-powered rifle, for example. If you use anything else, it's probably not going to kill it. and if you don't get a clean headshot with it, you're going to ruin the pelt. So there's a lot of pressure on when you're hunting, and it's a very patient game now, and it can be a little bit boring, but I personally love the way hunting is now. I love immersion, and this game oozes immersion. Where it kind of stops oozing immersion is in the gunfights, and the problem with the gunfights is they are all pretty much the same. Once you get into the middle of this game, you kind of know exactly what's coming. You'll be in a situation where you suddenly see some enemy. There might be in a house, there might be outside a house, there could be in a river, there could be on a stagecoach, whatever. You will have 4 or 5 of them, and as soon as you shoot that 4 or 5, another lot will come in from maybe the east, maybe 4 of them, and then you shoot them, then it's now from the west, and then there's another 4 coming, and that pattern replicates itself over and over and over all the way through the game. It just constant, and so you kind of here we go again, and it does get a little bit boring as you go through it. You kind of just see it coming. That's another bit of a gripe that I have with the game, but the gunplay is fantastic. It's just really good fun. You just feel tough as nails. You can bring your character up any way you want. You can be a bastard from the get-go if you want. You can just constantly kill people. You get a bit of a good guy, bad guy thing going on that the game registers. So if you're constantly doing bad things, you'll get a bad rep, and you'll not be able to get discounts in the stores and things like that. But if you do good deeds, people will give you discounts and like you a lot more, and it's just really, really fun that you can just do that. I mean, it even does that thing when you walk into the saloon and the music stops and everybody stops and looks at you because you're so out of place. You're in this, everybody's like, high society now, the Wild West is over, and you walk in, as you walk into the big city, and you've got your Wild West clothes on, your spurs all in black with your 6 shooters, and everybody's like, who the f*** are you? There's also crafting in this game like there was in the first, where you picked lots of different plants and different flowers, different mushrooms, and you can then craft health potions out of that. I say potions, that sounds like I'm some kind of wizard. But they're like health remedies. They're like, snake oil remedies and all that kind of bullshit from the Wild West. But hey, they're not all bullshit. I mean, you do learn some rudimentary stuff as you're going through, but if you want the real good remedies, you've got to go searching around for them. I found a horse revive recipe in a tree stump, which is a brilliant recipe, because if your horse is going to die, you can revive it. And remember, if your horse dies, it's dead for good. And basically the crafting, you just set up a camp, you go down the different things that you can make. Ammunition, you can make that as well, and as long as you have the materials, you can craft it, and then you put it into your satchel, which again you can upgrade as well. You can upgrade all your gear in this game. There's nothing you can't do in this game. It's just a really good game. But the game is hilarious, guys. It is. If you are a fan of westerns, you will love this game. There is so much more in this that I could tell you. I could talk for hours about all the stuff, all the content, all the fun stuff to do in this game. Just going off on your own and you can go off on your own and have weeks of adventures just by yourself without even touching on the huge campaign that this game has. There's loads of side quests as well. There's loads of just little things that aren't even quests that you can do. You can just sit on a cliff edge and start sniping random people. You can just be a bastard. You can tie people up, throw them on a railway line if you want, like you did in the first one. There's no end to what you can't do. It is a total sandbox game outside of the actual campaign. It is a definite contender for Game of the Year. There is no question about it. And it is definitely the best game I've ever played on a console. That is without a shadow of a doubt. It's fantastic, guys, and it is definitely worth a buy. And I know some people who've bought an actual console just to actually play this, and they are absolutely loving it with no regrets. I'm not suggesting you buy a console to play this game, but my goodness, I wish this was on PC so that every gamer could experience it, because it is just a really good game. And do you know something? This sets the bar, and Ubisoft and all these other publishers and developers should look at this, because this is the kind of polish that I expect on a AAA game. When I see a AAA game, you might say, oh Mac, you just hate everything. No, I don't. This is what I expect from a AAA game. If you're paying £80, which is what the full game costs on this, I expect this kind of content, this kind of fun, and this kind of polish. And Red Dead Redemption 2 delivers this, and it's just sad that hardly any other games do.
Stick 'em up, cowboy.